Guys, so I had my locals on Sunday and I did pretty badly. If I'm not mistaken, I lost I lost three games. One of them was in time, and I feel that if I could get the turn I had game on board. The other one was some really bad misplays by me, and so that has nothing to do with the deck. And then the third one was against Sword Soul, and the guy um, he protossed me like four turns in a row. Eventually, I got out of the protoss the first time because I managed to bait him out with the activation of a monster, uh, of a Sword Soul monster, and I was able to go talents, take his Chen crash it, crash the Protoss, and then link the two off into a Nightmare Phoenix. And from there, he couldn't really come back. And on the next turn, I OTK'd him. And then going into game three, what he did was he Lanciered me, and I really couldn't play at all under the Lancier. And then that just cooked me because he had OTK on board, along with the Protoss setup again. Actually, in game two, he did the Protoss again, but what he did this time was he didn't play into the talents because he knew that I could out it. So he just kept on attacking with I think it was Chenying, Chi Shao, the Synchro 8, and doing that he just never gave me the opportunity to get online again because most of my deck is dark. So this is the deck that I was playing. Um, 3 Dormouse, 3 Rabbit, 3 Chesty Cat, 3 Field Spell, 3 Trap, and the Dotscaper. Now, I see some lists cutting off the Dotscaper, which I do see is fine. My only issue is that if you cut out the Dotscaper, it does really stop some lines, make some lines a little bit more harder and a little bit worse into hand traps. And the problem with that is if you're going to cut out the Dotscaper, then you're almost forced to play this 3 cat. And the problem with Chessy Cat is that if you if you're playing 3, it's not really good in hand like as a starter. It doesn't do anything as a starter itself. So I'm really considering cutting the Chessy Cat down to 2 just because of the way the game is, and yeah, and keeping the Dotscaper in the deck. Then the next thing is the Field Spell. I've seen some people playing 2 Field Spell and they say it's perfectly fine, it's good. My opinion is I paid for these field spells, I paid a lot for these field spells, I'm going to use all 3 field spells. If they were cheaper, maybe I'll play 2, but no, I'm going to be playing 3. Then we're going into the next engine, which is the Bystial engine that I'm running. So 1 Magnemite, 3 Truest Worm. I think that's pretty standard for most bulls now. And then I was doing the double Baldrake, and I was doing the 2 Saronia. Now, the thing is, with Saronia in your opening hand, it allows you to potentially get a little bit more out of it. Because if you go Saronia, and then when you link it off, the Saronia is going to dump your Magnemite. And then when you do the Firewall, you can bounce the Magnemite back to your hand, and then use the Magnemite to further extend and add your Bystial again. In theory, it's really good. I pulled it off a few times, but the Saronia itself, I felt like it didn't really do enough in games. It didn't really provide enough interruption. It just provided the same body as all the other Bystials. So, looking back at it now, I was always playing this Bystial lineup. And when we had our regionals, I was talking to one of the guys who won a few regionals before. He came second if I'm not mistaken, this last regional, and he told me like he would have played 6 Bystials, 7 Bystials. So he was playing the 6, but he would have increased his Balric to 3. And when I was thinking about him, like if you're playing, if you're gonna play 7 Bystials, why not just make it 8 Bystials and put more names and get more diversity? And there's a reason why that guy has multiple regionals, and I went 3 losses at the locals. So I'm going to listen to him. I'm taking out the Saronia, and I'm going to try the extra Baldric, although I'm not really set on it. The problem is, I'm finding the Bystial engine itself doesn't do a lot at my locals, because you always build your deck to play your locals. Now, my locals got a lot of Ryzials running around, but not many Ryzial Fiendsmiths. There are a lot of like these variants of Ryzials, like pure Ryzials, or they're doing the Mitsurugi Ryzial with the rituals. And the Bystials, yes, is good into the Mitsurugi to a degree. It's not like against the Fiendsmith engine where if you Bystial their Lacrima, it hurts. If you Bystial their Requiem, it hurts a lot. Might even turn off the entire engine. If you Bystial away their Lari or Engravers, it really cuts the engine right down at the legs, like takes it out. So with that, I think we could drop these 2 Saronias in place for a 3rd Baldric, and that could help the deck out a lot. So that was the problems I had with the Bystial engine. For the hand trap lineup, we'll go with that first. 3 Shifter. Now, I wanted to run the Shifter this week, mainly because like the Blue Eye structure deck came out, and I felt Shifter really hurts the Blue Eyes a lot. It turns off their Maidens. It turns off like to a degree that Primite engine, because like now their Blue Eyes is getting banished. It almost complete. It turns off their biggest hand trap, which is the Effect Veilers. It hurts the deck a lot. And the other decks that I played, like Sword Soul, I felt the Shifter didn't do a lot. I versed Tempai, Fiendsmith, Kashtira pile. The Shifter helped, but it wasn't enough to. It wasn't like turn ending. And against the Ryzial Mitsurugi, the issue I have was that if I shifted them, they still end on the same Ryzial Mitsurugi board, just without the follow up. Like they can't keep on bringing them back if they leave the field or so. So there is an argument that the shifters could come out and I could go back to the Droll and Lockbird, because I really enjoyed Droll for the past few weeks that I was playing it. I had the shifters in the side, and the Droll was like FTK against a lot of the decks, because a lot of the guys who play my locals, they just search like crazy. It's a very weird local. It's competitive local, but you just got a lot of variety of decks that you have to play against. 3 Ash Blossom. It's Ash. I don't think it's the most impactful hand trap in this format, although I do think it's a good hand trap. Ashing your opponent's White Binder to effect to come back and draw 1 can hurt them a lot. Ashing some decks like the Duo Drive, Ashing Duo Drive can hurt. There's a Fiendsmith Yubel player, so ashing away on his Samsara Delotus, I think that's what it's called. That hurts a lot. Also, ashing just like effect of Requiem, tribute to Dump or to someone. I don't even know what Requiem does, but ashing Requiem does hurt sometimes. Even ashing the tract hurts at times. So it's a bit too versatile for me to cut out completely. Imperm, however, I am not enjoying Imperm a lot. I find I'm getting into a really weird position where my Imperm is conflicting with my Bystials, because if there's an opportunity for me to Bystial them and and I feel like it's really going to stop the game state, then I'm going to imperm that. I'm going to Bystial that. So for example, against the Ryziel Fiendsmiths, I'm going to Bystial and cut off the Fiendsmith engine as much as possible, but now they just carry on with the Ryziel combos. And my only praying hope is that Ash is enough to stop that on top of it. Or if I draw into something, because I can't imperm whilst I have this Bystial on board. So the imperms are in the air of whether I should keep them in or not. And I was playing the one Nibiru. I'll give a little bit more into this just now, but I had one Nib, because spoiler, playing cross out in the side deck, and I have more Nibs there. I feel like I could actually put the Nibs back into the main deck. The format as it is now, a lot of guys are just building really strong boards, and I feel like Nib is going to check a lot of the problems. So that was one of it. Then we're going into the non-engine. Call by the Grave. I feel every single deck needs to have this because they're silver bullets that kill you. Maliss, that Lancia hurts so bad. Like there's times where if they drop the Lancia, you just can't play. Not even can't play. Like at that point, you might as well, like, I don't even know, go play sous ships or something, because that Lancia just cooked you. So Call by the Grave, I like having it in the main, because there's some weird people out there. There's just people that go and put Lancias in the main deck because they're like, oh well, there's Maliss players, I need to beat them. So Call by in the main deck, I'm not taking that out. Then we have some power spells. So we're playing 2 Talent and 2 Allure and then 1 Gold Sark. So I feel Talent is really strong in this format, because if you're playing Maliss, people just throw hand traps at you. They like, just hope one sticks. Ash, Chessy Cat, let's hope it sticks. Anyway, link it off, banish, summon, full combo. And then you have your thrust, you have your Talents life. So Talents, I feel, is one of the strongest cards right now. Again, even though I lost that the Sword Soul match, I would have lost way worse and a lot quicker if I didn't have the Talent, because I was able to Talent take, crash, make the Phoenix and play from there. Allure of Darkness. I can see why people play Allure at 3. The reason is it's not once per turn, it gets your full Maliss engine on board. It's like Gold Sark but better at times. But I don't think I like it as a 3 off. Now my problem with this Maliss deck is consistency is a problem. That it's like you have a lot of 1-card starters, but they are susceptible to the first push. Like the first few hand traps can hurt a lot. So there's a part of me that I feel like Allure of Darkness at 2 is still the right call. And then I was main decking the 1 Thrust. Now my theory is, again, people are hand trapping me a lot. My Thrust is going to be live. I'm going to be able to go into Talents. I can go into Allure, Gold Sarks, and combo from there. That is very true, but not true at all, because most of the time they're hand trapping me and I'm thrusting and I have to set the card because they control nothing. So Thrust, I feel, can come out of the main deck now and go back into the side with another one there. So in the place of the Thrust, I am actually going to go back onto the Terraforming because of the consistency of this deck. Yes, the Field Spell is not a full combo. It's not an extremely strong combo. But it's still better than not having anything or a dead Thrust in your hand. So I'm putting it back into the deck. Then the next, so going on to the extra deck, 1 Link Decoder, 1 Lingeribo, then Honorary Link Haggadus, Lizardos, Splash Mage, Phoenix, Cerberus, IP, SP, and then for the Link 4s, I was doing Firewall, Access Code, a Bow, Griffin, and then my link 3s is just going to be one of each of the Malisses. Some quick thoughts on my extra deck. I really liked Griffin a lot, especially when I was doing the line where I could go a bow. I would scoot Griffin to the side and then a bow next to it, or I could even end up on a bow on SP Griffin, bring back my bow, and then a bow into IP from grave, and then IP into IP, and I could go into some of my Malice links, or I could even reborn a Malice link off a bow. A bow is really strong. I know going forward, a bow is going to see less and less play with the new support, but for now, I think it's a really good card. It's a really good end piece. It does help the deck a lot, but it's a bit hard to pull off at times. Even though there's Dormouse is a 1-card combo into a bow Griffin, hand traps are a thing. And sometimes you get stopped, and also it plays pretty poorly into Nib. But it's a link deck. I think all link decks play poorly into Nib, so one of those things. Right, now we're going into my side deck, and I'm just gonna run through it. I was doing 3 crossouts. I have to cross out Lancia. 1 call by is not consistent enough. The deck loses to Lancia like the plague. So I have to do it, I have to stop it. So I played the 3 crossouts. It never came out once. I had the crossout, the oak didn't have the Lancia. So I ended up just having a dead crossout at hand, which is fine. I just pitched it off for a bow, and then I just carried on from there. The games I did get Lancia, I didn't have crossouts or call by, and I lost. Go figure. Then I was doing 3 Lancia. If I'm in a Malice mirror match, this goes wild, because I'm just cross-outing your starters, your extenders, your names. I'm Lanciaing you. I'm crossing out your Lancia if you're going to try play, and it hurts a lot. So crossout in the mirror match is insanely good, and I think that's always been for crossout in the mirror matches. Even back when it was Snake Eye format, crossing out was like everything. You just cross out the starter and you already have too much on board. It was so cross out, and in the mirror match is just really good. Then Lancia, and then people, all thanks to Dinkabua, are on this stupid card, Chaos Hunter. And I'm now having to play Chaos Hunter because I need to have a cross out target for it. But it also helps that if you just Chaos Hunter the Malice play also, it hurts. Now, that's the thing. They're getting a bit... they're actually hurting us a lot with this Chaos Hunter, because they're not just dropping the Chaos Hunter when you're summoning back like your White Rabbit after you do Dormouse. They're Chaos Huntering you when you summon the Haggard Lizardos. So now you got this Lizardos and this Chaos Hunter, and you can't go into the Cerberus. So there's an argument that I cut my Cerberus, because everyone knows when they summon the Lizard, now they drop this Hunter, and it becomes a problem. Then I was playing one more Nib for the cross, because I have the Nib in the main deck for the cross out, and then if there's some really big decks that go into a lot of plays, a lot of monsters, spam the board, then I have the extra Nib to put into the deck to help out. Again, Nib is wild. Nib is going into the main deck now, because I just feel that's where it belongs in this format, especially in my locals. Then I was doing one more thrust to pair with the 1 thrust in the main, so I had 2 thrust, and then all the cards to hit the thrust with. D-Barrier, Feather Duster, because back row, this will always be in my side deck because of back row decks, and then 1 Sanctum. The thing is, if I'm versing a Malice player and they stop me, then yeah, sure, I have to only set. Okay, well, I'm just going to set Sanctum, and then I'm going to hit you with it on the with the Lancia on your turn. Against the Ryziels, D-Barrier. This card is actually sneakily good because I even used it in a very awkward game state where I D-barriered his sequence, his sequence to fuse, and I just called fusion, and then like, he stuck with this weak link 2, and I just killed him from there. I also, because of the Sword Soul matchups and Crystron matches up, called Synchro, it helps. Against Ryzel Mitsurugi, it's a bit weird. I mean, yeah, you're still calling XCs, but maybe you call Ritual if you're feeling gutsy, but it helps. And yeah, I understand you can thrust and you're playing, you can cut down on it, but I feel like D-Berry is such a strong card that I have to see it in my opening hand when I'm going first if I lose a game. Like, I feel like if I lose the game, the next game, I want cards that are going to really make it harder for my opponent. And I was on Solemn Strike for a little while, and I took it out immediately because I went Solemn Strike, set 2 strikes, and I'm like, I'm Gucci, I'm about to obliterate this guy. So for his turn, he goes Lightning Storm, call back row, and I'm just like, wow. Well, there goes my 2 Solemn Strikes, and it was against a Ryzel Mitsurugi guy, and I was lucky that he misplayed, and I was able to win that game because I ashed, I think it's his Mitsurugi prayers or something. He just misplayed his line, like one misplay, and I was able to survive and then OTK him. So yeah, that's the deck. Those are the changes I'm going to make to the deck, and I'll show you the deck now with the changes being made. So these are the changes being made. One Chessy Cat is coming out for the nib from the side to come in. The True Ceronias are coming out for the one Baldrake and the second nib. The Thrust is coming out of the main deck and going into the side deck, so it'll take over the spot of the one nib in the side for terraforming. So this is all going to go into the main deck now, and then the one Thrust is going to go into the side, and then these 3 are out of the deck. I am looking to remove one of these 2 for a potential the Dark Charmer. Now my thing is, I feel Cerberus can take the cut more than Phoenix. Phoenix just, I think, comes out very randomly when you need it the most. But my concern is, like, if they flip something like there can only be 1, well, yeah, I can out it with my Phoenix. I can just go Bystial and a Maliss name and make it, and make the Phoenix, and then out there can only be 1. Or I could even go, but it's like, it's such a weird card because, like, there's so many floodgates that negates the Phoenix, which doesn't give me the opportunity to use it, but I still like the versatility as compared to Cerberus, which is only going to be useful if I need to pop monsters. So the one of Chaos Hunter, but I already got the crossouts for the Chaos Hunter, and I've got the talents to take the Chaos Hunter. So I'm leaning more into actually doing this, cutting out the Cerberus for the Dark Charmer. So I'm gonna do some testing on these 2 and see which combo works best, and then take it from there. So with that, let's do some pile shuffles and see what the hands are going to look like. Alright, first card, Magnamat. Not a bad Bystial to draw. TB11. Okay, not a good start. That's a good start. That's a very good start. Why is it at 2 and is still in my hand? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a good hand. With this hand as it is, there is an argument to be made that you normal summon Chessy Cat. Well, first you'll set the TB11 and then normal summon the Chessy Cat, And that's because like this Chessy Cat is kind of resolving. Actually, no, it's not really resolving, because if they just go Ash Blossom on your Chessy Cat, it's gonna kind of hurt. So scrap it. We're just gonna do normal Dormouse and go from there with the set TB11, so that Dormouse is definitely resolving. So yeah, that's the opening hand. I think that's quite good.